In 1854, Henry David Thoreau wrote in his journal about a peculiar observation. He noticed that the moment a person decides to truly change their life rarely occurs during moments of clarity or peace. Instead, it happens in moments of what he called quiet desperation, when the weight of accumulated compromises finally exceeds the fear of the unknown. He called it the awakening. But Thoreau got one thing wrong. The awakening isn't a single moment, it's a process. And that process has an anatomy. Before the breaking point, there's what psychologists call the accumulation phase. Small disappointments, tiny compromises, minor betrayals of self. Individually, they're nearly weightless. But collectively, over months or years, they stack up like sediment. They form layers of dissatisfaction so dense that eventually the foundation can no longer support the weight. And then comes the recognition, the sudden, unavoidable realization that you've been lying to yourself, not about something small, about everything. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. The life that felt acceptable yesterday becomes unbearable today. Nothing external changed. You simply can no longer maintain the illusion. This is where most turning points die, in the gap between recognition and action. There's a German word for this, Schwellenangst, the fear of crossing a threshold, the fear of the irreversible act itself, the anxiety of stepping through a doorway you can never step back through. So you wait. You bargain with yourself. It's not that bad. You're overreacting. If you just wait a little longer, you'll feel different about it. Your mind doing everything it can to preserve the familiar, even when the familiar has become intolerable. Thoreau spent 2 years living alone in a cabin by Walden Pond. He went there, he said, because he wanted to live deliberately, to confront only the essential facts of life and see what it had to teach him. He wanted to avoid coming to the end of his life only to discover that he had not lived. But what's often left out of that story is what drove him there in the first place. It was desperation, the recognition that the life he was living was killing something essential in him. The actual turning point wasn't moving to the woods. It was the moment he stopped negotiating with himself about whether he should. When the pain of staying became greater than the fear of leaving, Thoreau wrote that most men lead lives of quiet desperation and go to the grave with the song still in them. But what he understood and what he lived was that the desperation doesn't have to be permanent. The turning point comes when you stop running from what you know, when you realize that the life you're living is no longer sustainable. You're outgrown it, and it's killing something essential. Once you cross that threshold, there's no going back. You can't physically return, maybe, but you can't unknow what you now know. You're probably in one right now, somewhere between recognition and action, between knowing and doing. The question isn't whether you'll turn, it's how long you'll wait before the turn becomes inevitable.